He wants film. He wants something he can hold. He wants something that...
That was the same thing people were telling me, though, when I was one of the first people to start editing on a digital editing system. I mean, when I did Road Racers digitally, and nobody was doing that in the studio. So it was one movie at Sony being done with an Avid at that time. And by the next year, it went up to 50 to 100 movies, and now everybody's using it. Everybody still thought everyone was still going to go fondle that film, and it's just too time-consuming. It's a very archaic system. It's extremely frustrating. You know when you've been to the color correction process on your film, when you go back and you see it, it looks different each time because the soup's a little different. There's no continuity. It's really frustrating. It's an old system that's not getting any better. They're not going to invest to make it better, whereas digital is going to keep going. And I think eventually we'll be able to look just like them. Right? If somebody was taking a picture of me with a digital video camera, because it has and it goes, it makes the sound of a picture being taken, so that you would know when it's clicking, because it doesn't make any sound usually. But it has a simulated electronic. I think that's what's going to end up happening in the film. You're going to have a simulated film image that'll look just like the old Godfather pictures, or just like Escape from New York. You know, whereas today the film stocks don't look like that anymore. It's really frustrating.
What do you think, John?
I don't know. I asked.
I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying I think it's inevitable. That one thing isn't going anywhere. It's the same technology we've been using for the past 40, 50, 60 years. This other thing is going.
Well, you worked with some great DPs. Sometimes what are they telling you?
I asked the one expert that I know who's been in the business longer than I have is Bill Frazier.
Yeah.
I asked him, let's talk about it, explain all this to me, where it's going. He said that there's no way electronically, essentially digital videotape, it doesn't have the capacity to have the same picture elements or pixels that photography or digital film has. It never can. And he said it can't ever make it. So what you're going to have, and I don't know how purist this is, right? So I don't really know if you're talking to somebody who's like that. Yeah. It's always going to be, the image is always going to be the greatest light. You cannot get the look of a motion picture in an electronic medium. This is what
I think right now, I think that's true.
No, you're saying that.
I think inevitably it will. I mean, people are going to.
I think in a lot of ways, what we're seeing is what happened with CDs versus vinyl and records, where you had people. I mean, and there's still people that will say a record is warmer, and I think they're right. And to a certain level, there's a warmth to it. I don't know if it's just the idea of seeing the vinyl turn around in a circle or not. You certainly can't get the track isolations that you can on the CD.
But you're able to be on the set and no longer stop and change the roles. You too will forget that film was a little warmer.
Sure, it's easier. No, it's so much easier right now.
Well, it's just so much film right now is shot and then instantly fed into a scanner where you can tweak the colors and the contrast and everything.
But right now you still didn't have to go make film prints the other way. I mean, like we were talking about last time was more digital projection, which I think is a better way to go. I mean, if you've done a high-def transfer of one of your movies, it looks amazing. I mean, it looks like a film. Here's the monitor. It looks like someone has a 35mm projector behind it being at the screen. I mean, it's like having a Super 808 home at a 35mm quality. You see the grain dancing around on the screen. You see everything. And when you color correct it that one time, it stays that way. It's not like when you go do your film passes and it comes back different each week.
Yeah.
It's for someone who has to go through that process so much, it's very technical, and most people don't care about that. But when you start getting into it, you're looking at all those little aspects, you see it being an improvement over the sort of archaic old way of going.
Yeah, I mean, when you're putting together like a special edition and DVDs or something like Halloween or something, how do you feel to see like the picture elements not being what they were at the time that you shot them and everything?
That's a different market. People to watch and hold. The problem with all that is that it depends on your transfer. I've had movies that look incredible on Laserdisc and DVD. I've seen some that look like crap. That all depends on the guys who are doing the transfer.
Exactly. There's so much weight, there's so much latitude. They can dial it
They
over.
become the artists. They become the guys who used to be the color processors. And so that there's so many variables, and it's all comes down to taste. But I still have yet to, somebody's going to have to prove to me. Somebody's going to prove to me that digital has the kind of depth and range. It's like painting. You cannot, if you're doing a painting, you cannot bypass brush, paint, and canvas. No machine can do it. You can get something that looks great, but you can't get it.
Well, in that respect, what do you feel about, say, old-style matte paintings versus digital matte paintings today? I mean, personally, I'm a big fan of Albert Whitlock. So, I mean, when you sit there and you look at an Albert Whitlock painting for a background in the movie, it's just stunning. There's an artistry to it. And I think a lot of people who are doing the digital work weren't trained artists beforehand. I hope that as artists begin to get used to these tools, as filmmakers, like Robert is, teaching himself everything about, special effects and all that, because he wants to cheat, right? He's got, like this, he wants to be able to make it look like an $80, $90 million movie. He doesn't have that budget, so he's sitting there like, okay, these are the toys, what can I do with them, right?
That's great. That's what it is. I mean, you can't afford to go to New York. What do? You build a model, you build miniature, you're gonna shoot. That's more fun than having the money to spend in this creatively challenge. Using the tools that are there. But I've seen tools that even in the just the main thing about the painting, I've seen some of these tools that they've got where you can simulate brushes. And you can simulate pretty miraculously. Somebody who doesn't paint that well can suddenly
It's horizontal.
Yeah, we got a horizontal one, but this one it's just so small I can carry it and shoot over this, even though it doesn't look as good as the bigger one. You just use it. This is just an hour. It's an hour of digital.
I was leaving Robert's house when I looked up the sky, and it was one of those beautiful quilted, moonlit, clouded skies that looked like that painting. And Robert's like, hey, here we go. Okay, do we have any questions in the audience here? Yes, back there.
Yeah, John. I think the second game you have to play on Resurrection the Dark Star.
No, a sequel to
Please?
No. You can't see a path that you can take with sentient bombs or anything like that anymore.
Well, that was your first film, wasn't it?
It was a comic. No.
That could be your first film.
I enjoyed it. How about the Dark Star? What was the little bouncy thing that's going on? What was that? Because I've had arguments with people that believed it was a beanbag. There was just a overstuffed beach ball. It was a beach ball? I don't know. Okay. Next question. Yes, over there.
John, I was wondering, I read in the press kit for Escape from LA that you finally thought that your technology caught up with your imagination when you made the movie. But I was wondering if there's anything that you left out of Escape from LA that you want to put in.
Sure, about 15 weeks of post-production. From the time we finished shooting to the time we were in theaters was 9 weeks. Wow. Finishing the effects, finishing the music. The day let's see, a week and a half before the release, I was seeing the movie for the first time. You can't make movies that way.
You use Kurt Russell in most of your films. How did you guys hook up and write Kurt and did you not take a chance with this casting and this player? Did you not take a chance with this casting?
Yeah, I met him on Elvis, and Kurt does not look like Elvis, okay? He's got these big cab door ears that stick out like this when it's tickle back from his head. He doesn't look like him at all. There he was on the screen playing Elvis, and I said, what's kind of playing? He can play it. He can play an action hero. He can play anything you want to name. So he's also one of the easiest actors to work with. He doesn't give me any problem. He was trained in the old Disney studio system where you hit your marks, you say the lines, you don't give the director any shit. So every time I get a chance, I ask him, would you like to do this? Because I'm looking for somebody like that.
So do you often